What's going on, everybody? Y'all know what day it is? It is Friday. So y'all know what that means. Live stream day, unpackaged day. Time to go in on the stuff that happened this week that I didn't cover on my channel the other previous days. Shout out to everybody that is currently here. If you haven't not done so already, make sure y'all go ahead and smash that like button. I want to have 100+ likes. And of course, you know my rule. The stream will officially begin when there's 100 people or more in the stream, in the chat. Let's see, who do we have in here so far? AV the Great, Gemini, Easy, Be Easy, Janesta, Tonda. Who else we got in here? Sean from the Shy, K-Bob, Michelle's daughter, Isaiah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Today's going to be an interesting streaming day because for those of you who have not seen my community tab post that I recently posted up like about 15-20 minutes ago, because I had another one up there, but I removed it because one of my subscribers had told me that something was showing on the box that, I didn't need to be seen. And I said, good thing they told me. But I don't think many people would have recognized it because they would have had zoomed all the way in. But I got myself a new PC. Yes, I did get a new computer. As y'all know, I was operating on my laptop for the longest time, but the laptop can only hold so much space with the stuff that I do, especially when I do those triple Ps. That stuff gets backed up a lot. Also, I have Photoshop on the computer on that laptop as well. So I needed something with more space. So if y'all want to see what it looks like, y'all can go to the community tab and you'll be able to see the interior of the PC itself, and it looks really nice. I actually got it off of Best Buy. So many people was asking me the specs for it. I was like, look, I don't know all the specs behind it. So what I did was I went to Best Buy. I looked up the one that I bought and just copied and pasted the link so people could read it for themselves, because the specifications is a lot of them. It's a laundry list of specifications. But originally I was going to build a PC. That was my original plan. But then I realized that, you would have to order the parts. It's so many parts that come with it. Some things may be out of stock. Some may be on back order. And then, it's too much. So I said, let me go ahead and just buy a PC. It's actually something that I've been wanting to get for quite some time. And thankfully, with the money I've made on YouTube, as well as other outside investments, I was able to finally get it. I actually ordered it last week, and the PC itself came in today. The monitor came in a couple days ago. I only need one more part to it, and it's not connected to this, but I need it for myself, and that's a chair. Because the chair I'm operating on right now is not the best chair, but I'm making it work until I get one. And I actually went to Staples a couple days ago and saw a chair that was like $150, like a gaming chair. And the best part about it is they actually put the chair together for you. So you don't have to worry about putting it together yourself. So that cuts out, some time and everything like that. And I get to write this off on my taxes as a business expense. So that's a very good thing. But what's going on to everybody in the chat? So far, it says that I have 47 people watching. Y'all know I need 100 or more before I get started. All right, can y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me? Because I felt like I was talking to myself, because I know I was telling a good story here, and it's like nobody was responding to it. Okay, let's see. It says I have 55 people in the chat so far. Need more than that. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I know what story y'all came here to hear. I know y'all came to hear my take finally about the whole Jacob Blake situation. Well, like last week when I talked about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, I said I was saving that one to the end. I'm saving this one to the end as well. Because that whole situation right there could probably take up a whole hour by itself. Because that's why I said in my community tab, if y'all saw it a couple of days ago, I said I was going to talk about it, but it wasn't going to be until my Friday live stream because there was a lot to unpackage. And I said, I bet you was going to be more information to come out about that. And sure enough, it was. A lot of stuff has come out. As a matter of fact, before this stream actually began, literally, if y'all follow me on Twitter, there was it was one major part of this story that just came out that I'll talk about toward the end. It's not major, but it's major to us, to those of us who are following this. Okay, right now it says that I have 64 people. I know I can do better than 64. I know that YouTube, of course, is not sending out the notifications and stuff like that. I know that they have shadow banned me. This I do know. I'm not new to this. And appreciate everybody who says that that is congratulating me on my new PC. It's been a long time coming, and it's something I definitely needed, and it works so fast, and this screen is so massive. Like, this monitor is a 24-inch monitor, and it's like looking at a giant TV. Okay, let's see. It says I have 72. I'm serious. I'm not starting until I get to 100. We'll be here for 30 minutes. So I hope people got the memo. I hope y'all are sharing the stream with the people on your social media. I already shared it everywhere I could share it. Because it used to be no problem me getting to 100 in like 5 minutes. Now it's taking me more than 10. The Creole Empire said I get the notification, but maybe it's because you can be subscribed to me and they'll still won't notify you. And like I said, I shared this on my Twitter account. I shared it in Discord for this Discord server that I am a part of. The place where I know I'm gonna get the most eyes, or the most views, I should say. I appreciate you, Black Voltron FBA 2020 says B1 and salutations, Torian Ram Reloaded. The moderators in the chat from West Oakland, California. Shout out to West Oakland. Okay, so I know that sometimes they'll send the notifications. This is how it works. They'll either not send the notifications at all, or they'll send them late. Like who was that? 69 Cams just said that she just got her notification, and I've been streaming now for over 8 minutes, and she just got it. It didn't come at 4:00 p.m. They said she just got it. So they'll either send it out to you immediately, they'll delay it, or they won't send it at all. That's why I put in my community tab that, because for some reason the notifications seem to work for the community tab. I said I'll send it, put it right there so people can actually see it or get the notifications. That way they'll know to come over at 4. Because see, I'm at 78 and it's almost 4:10. I couldn't even get to 80. Okay, right now I'm at 84. So by now, see, now that it's jumping like that, that shows that they're delaying the sending out of the notifications. They don't be sending them out when they're supposed to. So sometimes like they'll send it and other times they won't. And I'm going to actually talk about not so much the notifications, but it's something else is going to be a topic I'm going to discuss, because it's something that my subscribers have been bringing to my attention. And on the receiving end, as me being the content creator, I notice it as well. But that's going to be something I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to discuss it right now. Eugene Beck, UGM Beck, he says that I hear about R. Kelly being, yeah, I heard about R. Kelly being attacked in jail, and I'm not surprised. It's crazy though, because they put him in Gen Pop, but they put what's his name? Harvey Weinstein, if he's even in jail, in some kind of protective, I guess you could say, bubble. And I heard that his lawyers or his attorneys are trying to get him out. But you already know they not going to they don't want to do that. All right, let's see. I got 89. I only need 11 more. Yep, see, some chick named Star. She says she just got the notification at 4:09 p.m. He did, Lee's Ollie, he did get protective custody. And when he got out, he kept doing the same shit, trolling. Okay, they say it's 91. So see how long it takes to get to 100? And that's crazy for someone who has almost 31,000 subscribers. So something is, off about that, definitely. But that's what happens when you get shadow banned and when you get your voice silenced, or they try to, keep you from putting stuff out there. And the crazy thing about it is the stuff that I'm talking about has already been put out there. But see, it gets put out by mainstream media, and they only put out certain elements of what they want you to see, and they don't dive deep into it. They give you half truths, if they give you the truth at all. Let's see, 93. I need 7 more. That's crazy. Janessa, they were very hush-hush about the R. Kelly thing. I actually just found out about it yesterday myself. And it's crazy. Like over the last couple of days, I've been getting hit with trolls who've been leaving comments on old videos. Like I just saw one right now, and it's crazy. PC be acting like they give a damn about anything that we be going through, and they only use that to try to talk their shit. Like the comment that I just saw on a video I did about Quincy Jones like a year or 2 years ago. I forgot all about that. All right, it's at 97. We only need 3 more. Like I said, once it gets to 100, then I get started. As a matter of fact, the first topic I will talk about is the censorship on this platform, and not just with someone like myself, but as far as my subscribers go as well. I'm looking. Okay. Now it's at 101. Now I can finally get started. That's a damn shame. It took almost 15 goddamn minutes for 101 people to get in here. That's crazy. But I'm on to you, YouTube. I'm on to you. But anyway, I'll start it off like with that. And that's the censoring of the comments on this platform. So y'all have been seeing how y'all leave comments and everything like that, and they will go away and everything like that. That's because YouTube has censored certain words. So if you type the word coon, they will remove it. That's why if you're going to type that word, you have to type it where it's like a C. Instead of saying COON, you have to type it as C00N. Or put an asterisk in there somewhere. Like when I did that video about Andre Marhold and Jeffree Star, and it had the word Negro, I knew I couldn't type the whole word Negro, so I typed the E as a 3. Or when I do my Stragtail videos, I don't put the A, I put an @ symbol. So if you are going to type anything in the comment section and it has like a curse word in it, like bitch, shit, fuck, anything like that, you're going to have to censor the word or they're going to remove it. Hell, like Even now, they've even called on to when you type "coonstress" in the comment section. Because I noticed that sometimes some people get around it, some people don't, if they can catch it. Even if you type the word "coonstress" in the comment section, when I'm talking about Candace Owens, they'll remove that too. See, their algorithm is getting more smarter. They're starting to pick up on our work. That's why when I put it in my community tab, that's why I come up with my own little code words, because I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. Why do you think I don't say Jews? Or I barely, or sometimes I don't even say Jewish. I say the J community, or I say the academy, because y'all know what I'm talking about. Because I explained to you what I'm talking about. It's gotten to the point where now I see people typing palm colored all over the place. You're welcome. Or when people say the academy, I know it came from me. So that's all it boils down to. If you're going to type in certain words, especially like curse words and stuff like that, you have to censor it, or they're going to remove it. Like, for instance, when I did the video again about Jeffree Star, I saw some people write in the comment section using a certain word that would be, I guess you can say, determined as a slur to people in that community that begins with an F. And y'all know what I'm talking about. And I've seen people leave that as a comment. It will come up as a notification to me because I have like this other outside YouTube app that keeps track of everything. That comment will show up, and before I even click on the comment to even like say give it a like or anything like that, it says, oh, this comment was removed. And the thing is, I already knew it was removed. That algorithm is quick. The minute you click enter, if they catch something on it that they don't like, it's snatched down. In some videos, I should have way more comments than I do, but the reason I don't is because their algorithm picks up on certain words that people write and they snatch it down. I remember one time they went on a spree and literally snatched down probably 5 comments in a row. I'm just letting y'all know. And I know y'all notice they get deleted because y'all will come back and read and leave a comment that says, YouTube, I know y'all deleted my comments, but I'm gonna try this again. And then notice when you write it again, you rewrote it in a way that they can't take it down. So even y'all know that YouTube is censoring your comments. And because I know my channel is shadow banned, that means in a way y'all are shadow banned just because you're subscribed to me. Oh, yes, YouTube will shadow ban people who don't create content just because of who they're subscribed to. Because in the algorithm, they can see how many comments get left daily by who and on what type of video and under which content creator. It's even a thing where you can probably leave comments under my channel and go to a different type of channel that doesn't talk about the things that I talk about, and they may snatch your comment down there because they recognize you from my channel. And remember the video I did, or maybe it was in the stream that I did, how they changed up the whole sending of the notifications out and whatnot, and how they kept that real low key and you had to go look for that. You know, when they said they don't send the emails out anymore. Shout out to Go Professor. He says supporting the channel. Appreciate you. Oh yeah, there's a lot of underhanded stuff going on here. A lot. But like I said, that's why I have people who follow me on Twitter, because I know the notifications work over there. For some reason, it's crazy the notifications on the community tab work. But you know, it is what it is. But I put that solely onto the CEO. And I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. She is the worst CEO on the planet. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. I wasn't expecting to talk about that first. That was going to be like my third topic, but it is what it is. Oh, appreciate you again, Go Professor. I didn't know you sent something to the Cash App as well. Appreciate you. But let me now get into it. So this month has been very interesting. As y'all know, this month marks the 15-year anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I remember back in 2005, I was 16 when it happened. And it was right after school started. I was getting ready to start my sophomore year? No, I was going to start my junior year of high school when that happened. And that was like one of the most devastating storms that I had ever seen before in my life. But what was even more devastating was seeing the people down there literally fighting for their lives and how they got treated. And we know why they got treated that way. Because when you look at it, when you looked at the aesthetic, it was mostly Black people that was down there that was majorly affected by this. And then you have George Bush Jr. called them people refugees. I'm like, they are American citizens. They didn't come over here on a boat and just nest. That's when people really noticed George Bush racism right there when he made that comment. And yes, DJ, yes, they were murdering Black people down there. They were sniping them. That's something the news won't tell you. But y'all remember when all of that happened? I remember they started having like when I was in high school, they had a bunch of fundraisers and all types of stuff to send, food and stuff down to the people down there. But fast forward 15 years later, and you get hit by not one, but two hurricanes, one of them more powerful than the other. And that was Marco and Laura. I can honestly say in my 31 years of living, I have never seen two hurricanes come back to back like that, or literally side by side. I've never seen something like that before. I've never seen anything like that before. And I think they said it only happened two other times in history. I think they said the last time was in 1959. That was the year my parents were born. And I think the one time before that was in the 30s. So basically the pattern of the storms, you had Marco come in first. Marco wasn't as strong, but that Laura came in as a category 3. It came in as a category 3. Now, I will say this. There was a picture that I did see. Well, first, before I get into that, I hope that, I don't know if any of my subscribers down there are affected by that, but hopefully if there are any of my subscribers who live down in that area, that y'all were able to try to find a way to evacuate that area in a timely fashion. I was getting ready to talk about that, Sea Green, but I hope that y'all were able to get out if you were affected, if it did hit an area that you were in. Because I think it hit the I think they said they hit the Gulf Coast. Oh, gee, but you said it made it to a 4. Now, two people already mentioned it in the chat. There was a picture that was online that showed that Laura had knocked down a Confederate statue. I forgot what Confederate statue it was, but I saw the picture on Instagram last night because someone tagged me in it. I let out a light little chuckle and I was like, hey, even Mother Nature is sick of their shit. I said, I wonder who they're gonna blame that on. And it did some damage to it too, because it was broken. It didn't like pick it up off the platform and blow it to the other side of town. It just knocked it off of the pedestal it was on, and it cracked into two pieces. I said, oh, well, it is what it is. I mean, how am I supposed to feel about it? I don't feel any type of way. But hey, and like I said, this is also the month that Nat Turner weekend was last weekend. So yeah. But in all seriousness, though, like if I did have any subscribers that were down in that area, I hope that y'all are safe. For real, because hurricanes are no joke. I can honestly say where I'm at, I can't remember the last time I really experienced the true power of a hurricane. It's been years. Probably the last time that happened, I was probably still in high school. Any type of remnants of a hurricane that I have experienced since then has mostly been rain. And if you have ever experienced a hurricane before, rain is the part of the hurricane that you probably only want to experience, minus the flooding. But when you combine the rain, the wind, and all of that, and power outages, it's the worst. But let me move on to my next story. So y'all know that I just recently did a story about this black man down in Georgia, whose name was Jonathan Grayer, in which he was a truck driver and he had hit the back of a school bus, and he died saving some children off of that bus. Well, I was actually informed of another black man whose name was Savad Johnson, who was a firefighter. I believe he was a firefighter who was out swimming with his daughter. And those currents, that's why you could not get me into these ocean waters nowadays. And I believe, he was out with his daughter and her friends. And I think they said his daughter had screamed and he had ran and he helped save his daughter and her friends. And the current ended up pulling him under, and they just found his body a couple days ago. Very devastating. It's very eerie that there's been a lot of deaths by drowning lately. And in the same fashion where you're having someone saving a child, mainly theirs, because you had that wrestler who a couple months back, he was out swimming with I think he was on a boat. I think he was on a boat, or it was something in the water. And he was saving his son, and the current pulled him under, and they recovered his body a couple days later. I'm telling you, like I said, you can be the most experienced swimmer ever. You could be like Michael Phelps, but when you get pulled under by them riptides and them strong currents, especially if it's high winds that day, it's going to be hard, because all that water pressure pushing against your body is like getting hit by bricks. And then that water rushes into your lungs all at one time. It's not like swimming in a pool where the water is kind of steady. You're going against very hard forces of water against your body. Thank you, XA Shy Gasper. That was the wrestler's name. But I do offer my condolences, because the saddest part about that story involving Savad Johnson was the last image that his daughter will ever have of her dad was the current pulling him under the water. That was the last image that his daughter will ever have of her dad, is the water pulling him under and him not coming back up. When I had saw that part of the article, I had to stop reading it. All right, let's see. What's the next thing? Oh, God. Okay. So this next one right here, and I have to prepare myself for this. Don't worry, this is not the story that y'all are looking for, but it is something I wanted to talk about for the last couple of weeks, and I kept putting it off. But this week is the week. And as a matter of fact, shout out to Lisa, because I think right now she's actually going live on her channel, and she's actually talking about one of the people that I'm about to talk about right now. And the two people that I'm about to talk about is Herschel Walker and his extremely flamboyant son, and I put son in quotations, Christian Walker. I have been wanting to talk about, oh, she just finished? Okay, it must have been a premiere video then. I have been wanting to talk about Christian Walker on my channel for quite some time now, whether in a pre-recorded video or on a live stream. But I kept putting it off because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to talk about him today or this week because there's other stuff I can talk about. But after the display of which his dad, Herschel Walker, gave at the RNC this week, and all of the stuff that Christian Walker has said over time, it just disturbs me to no end. And I actually posted a tweet a couple weeks ago that I said Christian Walker is proof that coonism is indeed or can be genetic. Because Herschel Walker passed down them coonerific genes like it was nothing. Now, you know, I have my issues with Silly Porter. But one thing I would say that Christian Walker probably has an edge over Silly Porter. Because when you hear Christian Walker talk, outside of him having that extra zest in his voice, he talks like a PC racist. Through and through. That's what he sounds like. But that's what he sounds like. And if y'all ever had the displeasure of hearing him talk, you know what? Hold on. I'm about to do y'all a favor. And I hate that I'm about to do this. I hate that I'm about to do this. Let me see if I can find his profile on Twitter right quick. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. And this is off of his daggone TikTok page, but it'll do. Hold on. Let me share my screen right quick. Hold on. Okay.
Violent criminal refusing to follow directions from police officers and getting consequence for it. Oh, but since he's black, BLM terrorists think they get an excuse to go burn and loot cities to the ground. BLM, change your name to Criminal Lives Matter, because all you really do is destroy black lives and black communities when you burn towns down.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? That's Christian Walker. For those of you who have never heard him talk before. Okay, I don't know what just happened. But anyway, I'm back. That's Christian Walker. That is Herschel Walker's seed. And that's just one video. I'm only giving y'all one. I'm only giving y'all just a taste of him. Well, that's a bad choice of words. I'm only giving y'all just a dash of him. Now, I want y'all to tell me down in the chat, just on hearing that one video alone, who's worse between Christian Walker and Silly Porter? They're both bad, but I want to know who's worse. Exactly. Susan Butler said, don't he know BLM is now? That's the crazy part about it. If he looked at the website, it caters more to him and his lifestyle than anything. Okay, so I'm seeing people say Christian Walker, Silly Porter. Some said both. Him, and they talking about him, Christian Walker. Now, I'll say this. The reason why I say Christian Walker has an edge is because, like I said, he literally talks like a white guy. And let me show you something else. Hold on. Let me show y'all something else. Hold on. Look at him. In case y'all didn't know, Christian Walker used to be a cheerleader. That's him right there, kneeling down in a position he probably knows all too well, if y'all know what I mean. But yeah, that is Christian Walker. I'm sorry y'all had to get introduced to him that way. But Herschel Walker, you know, he got up there and he was talking about 45 and saying, in all the years he's known him, that 45 never displayed any type of racism. What did I tell y'all about these Negroes with a clean shaven face? Both Herschel Walker and his son, and I use that term loosely, have no facial hair. In that video, in that clip that I shown you of Christian Walker, if you went to his page, if you went to his Twitter page, that's all he talks about almost all day long. Alana, you funny. I'm not even going to repeat what you just typed. I'm not going to repeat that. Bitter Truth said he was the head. I bet he was. I bet he was the head cheerleader. He was at the top of the pyramid. But yeah, if you went to his Twitter page, that's really all that vitriol that he has, that is all you will see. E-Trap says LL Cool J is clean shaven too. So what you mean? He has said some things in the past himself. In a way, he kind of redeemed himself to know not to say that stuff again. But you got to think, if you look at the lineup of the black men that they had at that RNC, you had Herschel Walker, you had Tim Scott, some other, that Jigaboon Daniel Cameron. All of them had a clean shaven face, and every last one of them tapped, dances, you know, like they on Fame. I don't know if Daryl Scott was there. What's my nickname for him? Because you know I got a list of nicknames. Brian Pumper, Lloyd Brian Pumper Banks. I don't think he was there. I don't think he was invited. Just like the Coonstras, I don't think he was invited. Chauncey said Brandon Tatum. Now, let me be clear. The clean-shaven face, that applies to many, but it doesn't mean it has to be all. There are some that do have some facial hair that are still that way. He's one of them. Where was Terry Crews? Who knows? Maybe it's good we don't know where Terry Crews is, because the world functions better when he keeps his mouth shut. But yeah, y'all just got a hint of Christian Walker like that, and that he's a character. Now that's a caricature for you. When I talk about the quote unquote tragic mulatto, he fits that to a T. And it's crazy because he has all this stuff and all this vitriol for black people. But when you looked at that video, what was he doing? All that neck rolling and snapping of the fingers and twitching and clapping. Who was he trying to emulate in that video, in that clip? Sounds to me like he was trying to do his best sister girl impression. The same type of people he claims to not like. That's what gets me. He didn't try to imitate a white guy. He tried to imitate a ghetto, stereotypical black woman. And he's like that in every last one of his videos. Like I said, if you listen, you watch this one video here, you watched one, you watched them all, because that's exactly how he is in every last video he ever uploads. I kid you not. Those of you who are familiar with him, y'all are not surprised by what you saw, because that's all he does. But let me get off the topic that is Christian Walker and his pappy and get on to this next topic. So how many of y'all have been to the store lately, any store, and seen signs on those doors or on the windows that says coin shortage? Try not to spend with cash. Use your card. I've seen that a few times. I've seen it a few times. Y'all should be worried. Y'all should be worried, because guess what? Today it's the coin shortage. Tomorrow it's the paper shortage, as in paper money. People used to always ask me, why do you keep all your money in your account? Why do you always want to go deposit money into your account? And I used to do that years ago, before the virus was a thing. Who would have thought years later that it actually would come in handy? Basically, if you come in there with a certain amount of money, they're like, I'm sorry, I don't have any change. So imagine it'll get to the point where you bought something that was $10 and you gave them a $20 bill and says, I can only give you 15 back. I'm sorry, I can only give you $5 back. Because we don't have any ones. I'm telling you, that shift is starting to happen. Everything is about to start going more so digital than anything. We're practically already there when you think about it. Because think about it, like online shopping. I don't know if y'all heard, but Jeff Bezos, his personal net worth has just crossed $200 billion. That man literally jumped a few $billion thanks to this virus, because people were going on Amazon and buying stuff up like crazy. Masks, gloves, face shields, toilet paper. What do you think people are going to start doing now? They're probably going to start doing online businesses. And the only way you can do transactions with online businesses is with what? A card. Digital purchases. That's what's going to end up happening. Oh, and don't get me started on what's going to happen the day after Thanksgiving, because there's not going to be a Black Friday, at least not one where you go and wait in a line to go shop. All of that stuff is going to be online. And just imagine how much more Jeff Bezos' net worth is going to jump this holiday season between November and December. And by the way, Amazon owns Whole Foods, in case y'all didn't. So y'all better get ready. It's almost like I called this before this was even a thing. Darren, you said Cyber Monday. Well, it's about to be Cyber Weekend. That's what it's about to be called. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So, like someone said, we about to enter a cashless society. I'll put it like this. I've only done Black Friday maybe 3 times in my entire life, and none of them were in the last 10 years. I did it when I was in middle school, because it's crazy because when I did it, I actually saw one of my teachers at the mall. I saw one of my teachers at the mall in a store that used to be called KB Toys. I'm showing my age because that store is no longer around. And I did it a couple more times, but none within the last 10 years. At this point, like, what's the point? You can just shop online. Tana says there's a lot of places already cashless. We're behind. Oh, most definitely. I won't even hold you on that one. But all I'm gonna say is y'all better get ready, because not only is everything going digital with currency and money, but also jobs are going digital. You about to see a lot more teleworking, a lot of less people in stores working. Shoot, you look at Walmart, they already halfway there. Why do you think they have a big block that just has self-checkout lines? And at one time we used to always joke, like in Walmart, they would always advertise that all these lanes were open and all these people were working. But when you went to the store, it was the complete opposite. At the time, they were telling you, look, this is the direction we're headed in. Now we see it. Exactly. So the automation, the rise of automation, where you see robotic janitors cleaning and cleaning up the aisles. They don't need people to do that anymore. They'll just need a technician there to operate it, in case it breaks down. And all those 45 supporters saying, "Oh, 45 gonna bring all these jobs back," they're living in a pipe dream. Them jobs not coming back. Them jobs are gone forever. And the thing is, many people are going to have trouble adapting. Many people are going to have trouble adapting to the new normal. And they are going to lose it. Exactly, live from NYC. They said, if you have a job that a machine can do, you better start preparing. And many of the jobs that are out here right now, a machine can do. And because it's programmable, it can do it better. You see what's going on now with the schools. You know, they don't want to send the teachers back. Well, they want to, but we know why. And everything because of this virus. But what's the alternative? Virtual learning. They're like, well, if we can make this work, we don't need schools anymore. Whether it's public, private, charter, we don't need it anymore. All I'm going to say is this. 2020 is one of the biggest wake-up calls America will probably ever get for a while. Let me see. Someone send me a Cash App. Oh, never mind. That's an old one. All right. Let me go ahead and go on to the next one. Okay. So a lot of my, well, not a lot, but a few of my subscribers have been asking me, Torian, have you seen the show Lovecraft Country? Are you going to do a review on it? Now, those of you who watch my channel know that I do movie reviews. I did not know initially that Lovecraft Country was a show, but I had heard of it, and I knew Jordan Peele was attached to it. But I thought it was a movie. Turns out it is indeed a show that comes on HBO every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I must say, it is a very interesting series so far. It's only been 3 episodes or 2 episodes. I think 3 episodes so far. I know Journey Smollett Bell, the sister to the French actor. She's in it. Courtney B. Vance is in it. And I'm not too familiar with the main actor. I can't remember what I've seen him in. But basically, it's a show that takes place back in the day. I want to say either the 50s or 60s. And they live, it's pretty much segregation at this time. So it has to be during Jim Crow. And, blacks on one side, whites on another side. And the show pretty much starts off pretty normal, like in the first episode. But then halfway through, it turns into something completely different. I'll put it like that. You said Lovecraft is based on a genocidal racist. I think someone had told me that. So it is based on somebody. And then when I heard Jordan Peele was attached to it, I said, I know it's going to have some kind of sci-fi element to it because that's the lane that he, dives into. But it's a very wild show. I'll put it like that. I don't want to really spoil it for anybody who has not watched it and does want to watch it, but it is a good show. It's interesting to see a show that has a black leading cast in it that is sci-fi based. Because usually when it comes to sci-fi movies, they'll always have white leading actors and actresses in it, and they'll have the black sidekick. But in this show, the actors and the actresses are black, and they're leading it. No, it's on HBO live from NYC. The show is on HBO. I'm gonna have to look up this Lovecraft person because, to be honest, I didn't even know that was a person, but I'm gonna have to look them up because the way that y'all are typing about this person in the chat, he or she, I'm guessing it's a he, sounds like one of the worst people that ever lived. And based on how the show is functioning so far, I can see it. Ashton said it's like what Stranger Things is. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it, but I've never watched Stranger Things though. Yeah, but the last couple of episodes was pretty good. It has pulled me in. Now, as far as me reviewing the show, I don't think I'm gonna do it, mainly because it takes a lot to review a series. I remember I tried that before twice, and it's strenuous because it's like you have to watch the show and then deliver it to your audience. And it's not like when I do my Sundown series where I'm doing it, once a week and I can do it at my own leisure. Because what if I'm doing something at the time and I can't watch the show? Something happens and I can't watch it. Opposed to when I'm doing my Sundown series, I can just find any time to record it just as long as it's uploaded by Sunday. Creole Empire said the show is based upon the book Lovecraft Country by Matt Ruff. He wrote it to show the conjunction between Lovecraft and Jim Crow racism. Lovecraft was a very famous sci-fi writer, but also a racist. Interesting. But like I said, I'll do some more research about this Lovecraft person, because the way y'all describing him is just, I can see in the show where that's coming from. But I'm gonna go ahead now and move on to the next topic, and that's USPS, the United States Postal Service. In case y'all didn't hear, well, y'all already know what they've been doing with those machines. Like, they've been taking them out of the USPS and they've been dumping them everywhere and destroying them because the mail-in ballots and all types of stuff like that. I'm telling you right now, if I was to get a mail-in ballot, I'm going down ballot, because as far as I'm concerned, there are 3 clowns running. 4 if you include whoever 45 is going to pick as his running mate for VP. But as of right now, it's 3 clowns, 2 bozos, and a bozette. But anyway, I had heard that it's going to cost the USPS $25 billion. Let me say that again. $25 billion to get those machines replaced. I said that is a waste of money that could have been avoided had they not did what they did. And then people's mail is getting backed up. Like, for instance, well, my computer was delivered by UPS, so I don't think it really had anything to do with that. But yeah, people's mail have been getting backed up. I talked about that last week. DJ said, I'm surprised you were going down ballot instead of not voting at all. I mean, I'm only doing that to be petty. I just want to write in bozo and bozette. That's what I want to write. And that's most likely what I'm going to write. See, people in the chat saying there that their mail that people they know mail has been late. Some days late, some a week late. You can say, oh, I sent out something to you today. No, not maybe. Let's not use today. On Wednesday, it usually takes 2 days to get there, and it don't get to you until the following week. And then I had read, like, in an article, that the postal workers are literally stressed out. And I can imagine they are stressed out right now because they have to do everything old school, because those machines are not there to aid them. See, they didn't think this thing through at all. They felt like, oh, if we get those machines removed, it's going to affect, with the ballots for the election. But it affects all of the mail that moves, not just those ballots. What's going on, Art? But of course, they didn't think that far ahead. But then again, they probably did and still didn't care. Boulder rockets, interesting. You type that. I'm surprised none of them have gone postal just, as of yet. But it's a mess. It really is. And I actually, I feel bad for those post office employees because I know they going through it, and those are essential workers. So they have to work. They have to work. You got to think they were working through the beginning of this quarantine, this pandemic, to now have more on their plate now, probably, than they did before. And they probably not even giving them overtime. You said, Anthony said, did I hear about Cardi B clowning the first lady? Interesting. You use clowning, a clown clowning another clown. How about that? Exactly. Government, KM Hearts, they are government employees. They're federal employees. Post offices are owned by the government. But yeah, I know they are stressed out right now. They probably feel like this is a nightmare they can't wake up from. All right, the next one I'm going to talk about, and I promise the topic I'm talking about right now is going to be the last one I talk about before I go into the Jacob Blake discussion. And that is the topic of Scott Peterson. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all know who Scott Peterson is, or if y'all remember who Scott Peterson is. I'm glad you said that, Miss Yum Yum. They can't collect unemployment. As long as they work, and they cannot collect unemployment. Okay, let's see. I'm seeing a series of 1s. Okay, so y'all do remember who Scott Peterson is. Well, for those of you who are fairly young and don't know who Scott Peterson is, he was this guy who I guess paraded himself around as a playboy who was married to this woman by the name of Lacey Peterson, who was pregnant with their child. And she was very far along in the pregnancy. I think she was almost due. She probably was like 8 months. At least that's how she looked in the pictures. And he was messing around on her. He basically was having an adulterous affair with another woman. And he basically decided he wanted to cut ties with his wife. And he ended up murdering her. He murdered his wife and his unborn child. And it was this particular case was talked about heavily back in 2002 when he did it. But he ended up getting found guilty. They went through the trial and everything. I remember they made a movie about it, and they had cast Dean Cain to play him. And I said that was perfect casting because they look just alike. He got found guilty and he was put on death row until recently when he was taken off death row. So now he no longer qualifies for the death penalty. Let me remind you that this guy killed his wife and unborn child. Now, I just did a story about the bomber in Boston who was on death row, who they decided to take off of death row. And he killed many people, him and his brother. Now, what's interesting to me is that you have a lot of black people, especially black men, who are in jail right now, in prison, maximum security level prisons, whatever you want to call it, for misdemeanors or for crimes they could not even prove that they did, but decided to throw them in jail anyway, who are on death row. And when you try to fight for their life to get them off, they ignore it and they keep them on death row. And then they work up all the dramatics leading up into the day they are put on, strapped onto that table. And then say, oh, we made a mistake. Or sometimes they won't even say that. They'll go the distance and actually give them the needle. Look at Troy Davis back in 2011. He did not kill that security guard. And that was that moment that I knew I could not like or stand Clarence Thomas. It was at that moment. That's when I gave him the title of King Coon. Because it came down to him and Anthony Scalia to determine that he was going to be removed off of that table. Shout out to Solo Doe. He says Nathaniel Woods didn't even pull the trigger and got the needle. See? I did a video about a black man who's currently in prison for life right now for stealing some hedge clippers, a gardening tool. You had 3 strikes. Thanks a lot, creepy Jim Crow Joe Biden and slick dick Willie Clinton, who got affected and got caught up in that. Didn't hurt anybody. But you let a guy who killed his wife and their unborn child get off death row. You let a person who was responsible for bombing a marathon get off death row. And in some cases, if they're slick enough, can get out altogether. But this is who people want to vote for. This is who they want to put in office. When I saw that, I literally said, wow. I wasn't surprised, but it was just a wow moment for me. But that's who they decide to, slide and skate on by. And then you got Michelle Malkin and her self-hating self trying to clear the charges of Dirty Dick Danny Holtzclaw for what he did. That was actually a shock that he was actually found guilty, considering who he raped and sexually assaulted. But the irony of his sentencing is it happened on his birthday. Imagine you getting sentenced to 200 plus years in jail on your birthday. So you got to be reminded of that every year when your birthday rolls around. Okay, so let me go ahead now and prepare myself to get into this Jacob Blake situation, because I know that's the topic that many of you have been wanting me to talk about all week. And I was saying to myself, why did this have to happen at the beginning of the week? Why did it have to happen at all is a better question. So initially, the story was that Jacob Blake was breaking up a fight between 2 women. That was the initial story that had went out. And that his kids was there with him in a car. And then that's when he got shot. Then it was like other reports had came out and said he was there. It was a domestic thing with him and another woman who I believe is the mother of his children. And then that's when the cops were called. It was so many different stories that went out, but the end result was the same. And that was that this man got shot in the back at close range 7 times. 7 times. When I heard that, it reminded me of the movie Kill Bill. If y'all remember the movie Kill Bill, and I'm talking about Volume 1, where the bride was beaten severely at what was supposed to be her wedding and then shot in the head and literally survived in a coma for all those years. It reminded me of that because this guy survived. Shockingly, miraculously, he survived, but it was shocking because some will die from one gunshot, and he survived 7 shots to the back. Then, they said that he was in a coma. He was put into a coma, put on a machine. Then it came out that from his dad that his son was going to be paralyzed from the waist down. Imagine the last moments that you can remember was of you walking and being grabbed by your shirt and having a gun pressed against your back and unloaded into your back 7 times. And that was the last time you ever saw yourself use your feet functionally. Then, of course, his family, and it was probably more at the request more so of his mother, and I'm about to go slightly in on her. They had to go out there and get Ben Crump, of all people, to represent that family. And I saw Lisa had did a video a couple days ago, and she was mad. And I can understand, and I could feel her anger through the screen. And I can understand why she was mad. Because his mother got out there on that platform literally the day after and was doing all the I forgive, I'm going to pray, the whole Christian act, all of that. And I was like, oh my God. I said, yep, here it is. They're trying to get the money. They're trying to get the money. But one thing that pissed me off in that interview or that segment right there, that press conference, was after she was done talking and his dad got up there and started to speak. And his dad was speaking saying what he was supposed to say and what many of us would say, in that they need to get them. They need to be held accountable for what they did. And if you look, because the camera was on both of them when he was talking, at least from what I caught. If you look at her expression from when he was talking, she had her lips perked out and was shaking her head in the no formation, as in, how dare you get up there and ruin this bag that I'm about to get. Shout out to you, Solo Dolo. I tell my mama that if anything happens to me, give them hell, no forgiveness. Exactly. And then the sister spoke, and she basically echoed the same thing that her dad did. I can see her right now. She's only trying to get a bag off of this. Because the only way, because that's how do you think Ben Crump gets his money? How do you think he gets paid? That's how he gets his bag. That's how he gets his little ducats. To play the I forgive you role. That's why whenever there's an incident that involves black people in an injustice, I'd be crossing my fingers hoping that Ben Crump is not their attorney. Because then maybe they can get something done. But let's move forward a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts to this thing. One of the more recent things that happened was that Jacob Blake was handcuffed to his hospital bed. We found that out from his dad. His dad came out and said that his son was handcuffed to the hospital bed and they did not know what he was being charged with. Well, I got an article before this stream began that said that he's no longer handcuffed to the bed and that any charges that they were going to put on him will not be put on him. So to now, we don't know what he was charged with. They just handcuffed him to the bed. And I forgot what reason they gave as to why they decided not to handcuff him to the bed anymore. But I'm going to tell you what I believe it is. It's because people raised hell and was prepared to probably come up to that hospital. We were sitting there like, the man's paralyzed from the waist down. Where is he going to go? He can't move. Not even to do a number one and a number two. Where was he going? You thought he was going to just get up out of that hospital bed and make a beeline out of the hospital? Like, we're still trying to figure that out. And of course, you had Palm Color coming out there saying, well, you know, he did all this and he did that and then he did this. And then you have the co-colonizing cohorts coming out and saying the same exact thing. I foresee a fire truck in their future. For those of you who get what I'm talking about, you know, I said that I foresee it, a fire truck in their future. But he's no longer handcuffed to the bed, and he should never have been handcuffed to the bed. Where was he going? The other latest thing that has come out is that they have revealed the names of the pigs, the terrorist that was involved with shooting him. I think, let me see if I can go onto Google and find who they their names. Rustin Shesky. I think that's his name. Rustin Shesky. See if I can share the screen so y'all can see it. That's him. That's the one that pulled the trigger. Now, it was more involved, but he was the one that ultimately pulled the trigger. And as you can see, that's him right there pointing the gun at his back. And that's him right there, and that's him right here. Now, I think it was some other people involved. I think one of them was also a female terrorist as well, but they didn't reveal her picture. And there was another guy, but I forgot his name. But this is the main culprit right here. Yeah, y'all saying he was a bike cop. Because I think the other male cop, he said he was, now I don't know if this is true or not. He could be saying it's to save his own, you know what? But the other one said he was ready to deploy his taser. Not him. He had his gun out. But the other one, who I think is this guy, you can kind of see his shoulder right here. He said he was prepared to deploy his taser on Jacob Blake, which would have been much more feasible to do if he was going to detain him. But he pulled out his gun, grabbed his shirt, and unloaded 7 rounds into his back. But this is the one right here who did it. And he kind of looks like Prince William, you know, Princess Diana's son. He kind of looks like him in this picture. Yeah, because they keep bringing up that there was a knife and everything like that. They keep going back to that. But you know how Palm Color get down when it comes to spinning their own web of deceit. Which leads me into this part of the story. Hold on. This boy right here, Kyle Rittenhouse. I know his name is Rittenhouse, but I'm calling him Rotten. Kyle Rittenhouse. The one who decided, the 17-year-old who decided he was going to take a trip from Antioch, Illinois, which I found out from Harvey is like 30 minutes away from Kenosha, where the shooting happened, with his military style weapon in tow. And Harvey mentioned something. The way he's holding his gun, you can tell he was professionally trained. And notice he also has gloves on because he's not trying to leave no prints, but he has his face exposed. So it's like, okay, what's the point? Appreciate you, Solo Dolly. Says little Kyle. Yeah, 17. Went to Kenosha. And it's crazy because a lot of the pictures that they keep putting out about him is him when he was like cleaning graffiti or something like that. He was scrubbing something off of a wall, but I think they said it was graffiti. But they keep showing that picture, but they don't want to show this picture, which is the picture we all got introduced to when we first learned about him. This was the picture that was floating around a lot. So he went to Antioch. He went to Kenosha for, they said it was a Black Lives Matter protest. And then, you know, there was visuals, there was video of him on camera and everything like that. But the part that literally had everybody talking was the shooting that he did, in which he shot 3 people, 2 who died, who were killed. And you can actually see on like the videos where he killed these people. And what happened after that? He walked past them, the police, like nothing happened. They gave him water and a little pat on the shoulder. They literally online were calling this boy a hero. And I'm glad you said that, Rosie Posey, because his mother was there. Someone had found a picture of his mother there. And I swear his mother looked like a straight up dude. Like if you look at his picture right here, it's like looking at his mother. And this, like, he had aspirations to want to be a cop. And, you know, they pulled up a screenshot of his profile on Facebook. It is nothing but Blue Lives Matter shrines everywhere. You swear that's the only thing that he talks about. Shout out to Solo Doe. He said Mayo media is trying to portray him as a victim and a hero. Yeah, they are. They're saying, oh, he was defending himself. It was self-defense. He's a hero. But one thing, hold on. I'm going to put this in the chat because I don't know if I haven't been watching the chat move out because I was focusing on the screen. Can someone say in the chat, what is the one thing that mainstream media is leaving out about the shooting he did? I want to see who's going to get it. I want to see who's going to get it. What is the one thing mainstream media is leaving out about this? Exactly, Vendetta, you got it. He killed white people. He shot 3 white people, 2 of whom died. But they keep leaving that part out. Why? Because they say it happened at a Black Lives Matter protest. And there's a reason why they're leaving that out. Because they only like to talk about quote unquote black on black crime. And he came from Illinois. What's in Illinois? Chicago. Even though he didn't come from Chicago, he came from Antioch. They're not going to talk about that, though. They will not touch on that at all. And the thing is, they already have 2 clear pictures of the 2 people who died. They were 2 white men. including the third person he shot that didn't die. But one thing black people unfortunately did is they jumped on and said that, he shot 3 people and they assumed that they were black. Let's be glad that they weren't. Shout out to you, Wraith Black. Because if y'all remember, when I did that story about what happened down in Florida, you had that guy who had all those felonies since he was 12 years old, went and killed those 3 white people along with his girlfriend and his brother. And they thought for certain that the killer was black or Hispanic. Be glad that they were not black. Because now they can't run from this whole white on white crime thing. And that's probably why he was charged the way that he was. Because he got some felony charges to him. I think one of them was first-degree intentional homicide was one of them. And I think attempted for the one that he didn't kill. Now, what's interesting is if y'all remember back when Michael Johnson did his thing back in 2016, there were 2 brothers that both of them were black, but they were actually blood brothers who was walking around with military style weapons, sort of like the one he has during a BLM protest. And of course, they were looking for Michael Johnson, who they didn't know who it was at the time. And they saw these 2 brothers walking with their guns like they were able to do because, Texas is an open carry state. They had every right to do so. They stopped them, pull them out, and then throw both of them in jail and take away their weapons. They had the wrong people anyway. Then when they realized that they ate crow, they had to let them go. But this kid can travel across state lines illegally, underage, and just casually walk through with that type of weapon. Rebel, you said his attorneys were granted a delay in extradition hearing white figures, but not surprised. But he was able to do all of that freely. In my community tab this week, I made a post. I actually posted it up on Twitter as well. To my female subscribers, I said, how many of you own a firearm? I was actually surprised by many of the responses that I received, that many of you did. Because I know how many women are scared to own a firearm, let alone even hold one or even shoot one. Reason I asked that, 2 reasons. One, because I know if I ask the guys, I know what kind of response I'm almost expecting to get from them. And 2, a lot of women, especially black women, love to say that they are on the front lines at these protests, protesting for black men and everything like that. Well, I'm saying it like this. If y'all are on the front lines like you claim you are, you better be armed. Because as you can see by this picture on your screen, if you are on the front lines and he's ahead of that line and you not protecting yourself, you are all getting sprayed. You better go out there and be prepared for anything. This right here just showed you that they can just walk freely anywhere, travel from anywhere. Charlottesville taught us that. Charlottesville showed us that. The guy who James Alex Field, who traveled from Ohio to Charlottesville, Virginia back in 2017, used his car as a weapon, ran over several people and killed one. Or like Sonia C says, don't go at all. If you're not prepared to deal with what possibly can happen here, don't go at all. That's probably the safest thing that you can do. You do not have to be involved in every single fight, especially if you are not prepared. Now, this is like an ongoing saga right here. So there's definitely going to probably be some more update videos coming from me as it pertains to this, because I'm sure more and more stuff is going to come out. Now, I know I said that was the last thing I wanted to show, but there's one more thing I wanted y'all to see. And it was a video that one of my subscribers sent to me on Instagram from 2016, when 45 first began his run for, really got his run in for the presidency. And it's actually something I talked about on my channel for quite some time, when they questioned him about what does make America great again mean. And wait till y'all hear these responses. Hold on, let me get this thing opened up. Okay.
When was America last great?
For me, I would say the turning point for our country was 1913, when we passed the 17th Amendment. And what's
So like back when like women couldnn't vote?
Yeah, well, back up, but again, let's go back.
That's kind of your sweet spot right there.
Absolutely, but 1913.
What year was America great?
When it was founded.
Except for the slavery stuff.
Except for the slavery stuff,
I think we were probably our strongest immediately post-World War II.
So around the 1950s?
Yeah, mid-40s, 50s.
I mean, I think the 50s was great, other than, segregation and women's rights.
Look, we could sit here and paint negative faces of all times in America.
Correct.
It's make America great again. So when was the last great?
It's always been great.
If it's always been great, what are we trying to go back to?
We're not going back. We're going forward.
Well, I guess the 80s were pretty good.
Right, the 80s.
Yeah, the 80s, great music. Great
Crack
video
cocaine.
games, crack cocaine.
Yeah.
Well, we're always great. The people are great.
So
Yeah.
So America is great right now. So we did it.
No, we didn't do it.
America became great when the founding fathers put pen on paper in 1776 and decided to build a country based on laws.
Right.
That was greatness.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Other than the slavery, obviously, that was terrible. And
We did have that. Yeah, we did have that and the Indian thing, right?
that was terrible. And the women's voting thing. But other than that, that was awesome.
A few hiccups along the way, Like they say, nobody made it to the top without breaking a few pieces of china. That wasn't an insult, by the way.
Okay, so y'all just heard that. Y'all, this is who voted for 45 back in 2016. That is who voted for 45 back in 2016. That was his base. And by the way, that clip came from the Daily Show hosted by Trevor Noah. The part that got me was when when he mentioned about the crack cocaine. He said, the 80s are great. He's like, yeah, because of crack cocaine. He's like, yeah, because of crack cocaine. Okay, we know what you was doing in the 80s. We know what you was doing. Right, Rosie Posey said, without breaking a few pieces of china while talking to an Asian man. I said, awkward much? And then the part with the women, they were saying America was great when it was founded. And he came back and said, and by the way, the black guy, his name is Roy Wood Jr. He said, except the slavery stuff. Except the slavery stuff. If he didn't say that, she wasn't going to come out right of her mouth and say that. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can find the link to this. I'm going to copy this link and post it in this chat. I want y'all to share that video as far and wide as you possibly can. That's the so-called people we're supposed to be looking up to. That's the superior class of America that y'all just heard. A few hiccups along the way. I wonder what hiccups he was talking about. I'm willing to bet that most of them had something to do with us, such as Jim Crow, civil rights, redlining. What else? The crack era. You know, stuff like that. But I must say, when I first saw that video, I was looking at it like, wow. But I wasn't surprised, because that's a segment of America that probably claims to be so intelligent and so smart. But then again, so does their leader, claim to be so intelligent and so smart. He said that out of his own mouth, and he said it with his chest, like he believed what he said. Right, Jerome COINTELPRO. A lot of things. The point of the matter is, America was only great for a certain group of people. Even since its inception, has it only been great for a certain group of people. And the people in that video were the ones who it was always great for. But they'll be the same ones that claim that they've gone through so much. And if you speak ill of that, you know what, that involved the J community, then they'll have you believe that, you know, that was worse than chattel slavery. Even though that happened in Germany, not in America. And they're still getting reparations, even though they try to deny that they're getting them. We know that you're getting them. And getting them from a place that had nothing to do with it. Amazing. Yep. Black Wall Street move. But like I said, notice all the times that they mentioned that America was great was when it was great for them. Nobody else, just them. I don't know what 45 slogan is going to be this year. Is it keep America great? I don't know. Right now, America's in bad shape. But that's pretty much all I have for this week's live stream. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to everybody who has contributed. Shout out to any new subscribers. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. Of course, you know, with the 4 videos a day, 9, 12, 4, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to have, I know it sounds is repetitive, but I say it anyway. Make sure to have your notifications turned on. Just go to the near the subscribe button, click the bell, make sure it is clicked to all. And you know, we'll see what happens and we'll go from there. But with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you in the next one.